This is the most divisive period of British politics that I've ever seen. Brexit was bad, but this is a new level. And what I find most concerning is the absolute inability of both sides to understand each other's points of view. So I want to examine the politics of all these marches and all these political events sweeping the country. Free speech seems to be the place to start. A lot of the videos I make is to try and direct anger where I think it should be pointed. Not towards poor people or immigrants or young people, but the people who have money and power. And when we start arresting people for comments made on Twitter, or caution them for TikTok videos, we're getting into some really dangerous waters. If you've not watched The Death of Stalin, please go do so. You really will start to see the irony. Inciting hate or violence is a crime. Having an opinion is not. And this is what's been weaponised by the right. Because nobody can distinguish what is inciting violence or hatred, nobody can tell what's free speech anymore. However, the right have legitimate concerns, which frankly have been ignored for way too long. People are getting poorer, people are getting sicker, and people are no longer able to find work to give their families a better tomorrow. And all a lot of these people can see are their homes becoming more and more diverse. So what you've actually got is a cause and effect problem. The only thing that they can see has changed, they blame. On the flip side, we've had successive governments encouraging foreign labour into the country to boost our woeful GDP numbers, which then makes the economy look more productive than it actually is. Which then follows how we got Brexit, which follows how we have the unrest right now. Because people are getting poorer, and all they're seeing is immigration, legal and illegal, and they do not feel their voices are being heard. So just calling these people phobes or isms of any variety isn't helpful. They already think the ruling class hate them. Because they're right, their lives have got worse, just not for the reasons that's being fed to them. On the flip side, the government is flat out incompetent. They do not have the ability to make compelling arguments against the right and their problem with immigration. And a lot of this is because the government is the front and centre reason why so many in this country are so poor. Starmer even made a speech quoting Enoch Powell, who I implore that you go and look up, because he made Farage look left-wing. But in a lot of ways, allowing people to blame immigrants is not the worst cover for the government. Because the only way to argue against it is for the government to admit massive failures and the incompetence of the civil service. And what I personally find frightening about the whole situation is that it's only going to get worse. The Chancellor's autumn budget is going to plunge us into an even deeper death spiral than we're already in. The country is so angry, and any more perceived tax rises will only increase that higher and higher. And once it hits breaking point, I don't know what will happen. On the left side, what I don't think is helping is what I call the politics of empathy. And by that meaning that any of the groups being targeted by the right at the moment, in their eyes, are untouchable and unimpeachable because they're groups that they think should be protected. And the truth is, nothing's black and white. Everybody has faults, and every community has problems. And to add to that, the fiscal education of both the far left and the far right is terrifying. The Green Party seem to believe in financial insanity and that you can just create money from thin air. It's basically university politics. While Farage seems to be coming up with similarly laughable financial ideas that are both cruel and dangerous. We live in an age where we need experts, where we need intelligence, and we need intellect to get us out of the financial hole that we're currently in as a country. Instead, we have populist politics promising sweeping, unaffordable change. A government full of talentless people who couldn't manage their way out of a paper bag, and looming financial problems that will just continue until we finally stand up and tackle them head on as a country. We need to lower the temperature of politics in this country, which will involve both the left and the right seeing each other's points of view and trying to find some common ground.